everyone, so today's video is another film highlights of films that I have loved over the past few months, and I have 5 films that I thought were truly spectacular. So the first one is actually one that wasn't going to be a highlight. This is The Tall Guy. It's an Emma Thompson film and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but when I got to the end I thought, kind of average, it won't be in a highlight. And then for 2 weeks, maybe even longer since I'm talking about it now, I could not stop thinking about it. On the one hand, it's quite a stereotypical love story. Guy meets girl, guy pursues girl. Guy is very tall and is an actor and is starring in a production of The Elephant Man, so there's a lot of weird kind of comedy there. And then there are also your typical love issues built in with that. But it is so funny, like absolutely hysterical, and I definitely recommend it if you're an Emma Thompson fan and you haven't seen it yet, because I love Emma Thompson. And the best scene in this, which you have to YouTube, it is on YouTube, and it is the sex scene. And it is not sultry and seductive, it is funny. Funny as anything. The music is so heightened, and basically the scene, the room is a mess by the end of it. There is one point where Emma Thompson gets Rice Krispies or something up her derriere, and it is just comical, very funny, surprising film. Definitely recommend. We'll go with the second and final Emma Thompson film out of these, and this is Junior. We have Emma Thompson, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. And in this one we have a man who is pregnant because of a science experiment, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is probably the most hilarious thing ever. And it's all about how this baby grows and obviously what are they going to do after its full term, and it's very, very funny. I think anything with Danny DeVito as well is going to be very comical. Emma Thompson in this is adorable. This is probably one of my favourite of her films in terms of the character she plays. I love her so much in this, and it's just such a lovely film, very funny and a little bit surprising. Lots of little things pop up now and then which make it just a little bit more fascinating and funny, and I definitely recommend it. Then we have Cake, the Jennifer Aniston film. I finally got around to seeing it, and Jennifer Aniston is fantastic in this. You know, she's a very beaten, worn out woman who has quite a tragic story in her past, which we learn about as the story develops. And she's kind of a suicidal woman as well. And you just completely feel for this character and you're sucked into her emotions. So it's quite a heavy going film. And I think Aniston's performance is astounding, it's beautiful. So it's not one to watch if you're in the mood for something light-hearted that'll make you laugh. But if you want something that is a quality film, in my opinion, that is very emotional and very real, very realistic, then this is one to go for. Then we have A Royal Night Out, which is adorable. This is about young princesses, Elizabeth and Margaret, of course, Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth, and they go on a night out. Obviously they're not supposed to, they're not allowed out, but they do go out, and they decide to separate because of Margaret, and things obviously go horribly wrong. And on the one hand, Margaret is very wild and interested in trying new things. Elizabeth just wants to find her sister and go home, and of course we end up on this wild goose chase with Elizabeth trying to find Margaret. And I have to say, I love the portrayal of Elizabeth. I think it's spot on in my kind of the way I perceive things, but Margaret is so funny, and the character is just so fantastically played. And when she calls herself P2, I just almost wet myself laughing just because of the way the words come out, and it's just so adorable. I think if you're not a royalist, you might not find it as enjoyable, or certainly you will have a different outlook, because it's set on the final night of the war, and you may see things differently, but for me, I thought it was fantastic and I love it and I want to watch it again. Finally, we have one that I'm very glad that I watched after I went to Paris. This is As Above, So Below, and a group of people decide to go into the catacombs at night and go down secret forbidden passageways to find the Philosopher's Stone, which I didn't know was a real thing. So Harry Potter has just become even more awesome. But they go in, obviously it's very dark, there are a lot of really disturbing images. We start to find them experiencing what we think or assume or hope are hallucinations, but there's a darker aspect to it. Very philosophical, very mythical in elements, and had I seen this before I went to the catacombs about a month before, I might have been less willing to queue for 4 hours in the baking sun to go into the catacombs. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like is the last 15 seconds. I thought the ending was just, right, this is how it ends, done. And it was so quick, and there was things that could have been more explored in depth. I think a few things were missing. And also, why did certain things happen to some characters but not others? So there are a few questions around it. It's not 100% perfect, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. 5 films that I absolutely recommend. If you've seen any of these, do let me know what you think about them, or if you go and watch them, do feel free to come back here and comment or send me an email or a Facebook message or anything with your thoughts, as I'd love to discuss these in more detail. Suggestions for other films, please do let me know, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!